Now we're going to move on to reparations in general. You know, sometime back I asked you guys just a general question about is fighting some sort of deviant behavior, and now we're going to talk a little bit in general about reparations.
Well, we talked a couple weeks ago about reparations, Elizabeth Warren's her Gay Reparations Act,
Right.
And I've had an interesting discussion over the past several days with, well, I'll say it, racists who are calling for reparations and think that everyone else owes them money for things that have happened in the past or are happening now, whether it happens to them personally or not.
And presumes we can calculate that number accurately.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm
you know,
saying,
it just
I'll be asking for that.
and you know that comes down to, I mean, we've just about discussed the entirety of the issue, but it did lead me to the discussion led me to thinking, well, okay, we've got the Pawhuska thing and the Fed saying that they have the right, that the owners of the property and the people who have been wrongly treated, wrongly arrested and so forth, have the right to sue.
Yeah.
Well, who actually should they be suing? Should they be suing the city?
Let me catch up. You're talking about the owners of the property, the truck,
the truck and the hemp.
And now they're going to sue somebody because they were infringed on their trip, right?
Correct.
And now who should they sue?
And their entire load was destroyed. So they are out all the money that they spent for the load. So they are actually owed.
It was about a $500,000 payload.
So they are actually owed
Which has a street
$500,000
value of $14 trillion.
But they are actually owed not only that, their truck, which I don't think they've gotten back yet.
No, the last time.
They're
both vehicles.
All of the people are owed not only you know their wages for their lost wages and things like that from the city, but also pain and suffering and this and that and the other thing. And there needs to be a punishment ascribed.
Yeah.
But the question is, to whom should they be suing?
Yeah.
Not to whom, but who should they be
Who
suing
is
again?
responsible for the damages?
Exactly. And how are they going to collect if these people don't have it?
We know how that's going to
But the thing is, reparations are very much along the same lines. And the question is, how far does it go? How far away from the criminals themselves do you drag people into this?
The fast answer is how far equals time. And so why isn't it a quick answer of statute of limitations?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, how far away from the actual criminals are you going to be basically encumbering other people? So in other words, if you were a resident of Pawhuska and they sue Pawhuska and Pawhuska's out money now, so they tax you, who had absolutely nothing to do with it. How is that right? To be taxing you?
That's more justifiable as a member of the city that hired your people and elected your officials, and they were your guys.
Okay,
so,
right.
You know,
and I understand that.
My question,
but what if you did? What if you voted against them because you knew this was very possible?
Before we get deeper into a different subject, you said further away, and I'm talking about time. You were talking about degrees of personality. A person's responsible for their actions. And you get so many people away.
Okay.
But I'm asking about time specifically.
Sure.
Why isn't reparations a moot point because of statute of limitations?
Exactly. Well, actually, the entirety of reparations is because there is nothing that you can take to court. There is nothing that can be done in court for reparations because although they happen, there aren't the individual acts, because individual acts have to be tried against individuals.
What are you talking about? Slavery now or what?
Well, slavery, but these people went into not only slavery, but they're owed money for missed opportunities for being black.
Well, let's separate that out. Let's separate that out from the hemp truckers, okay? Because the hemp truckers, you've got an actual person.
You got an actual crime.
The actual crime. Here's my thing. The city of Pawhuska authorized that law enforcement agency.
Right.
Okay, they are agents of the city government.
Right.
This is where it's important who you vote for. Because
Right.
you give them the power to speak and make decisions on your behalf, and collectively, the whole city, you're on the hook for what they do. That is why there is a recall petition going on right now, before they cost the city any more money.
Van, you're making an excellent point, because most people, and I have been included that before I got interested in politics, most people who live in Oklahoma think there are two cities, Tulsa and Oklahoma City. And they don't think that whoever gets elected in Pawhuska really matters, because it's not Tulsa and it's not Oklahoma City.
Right.
However, you can see that Pawhuska can have federal implications.
Right. Now, in that case,
I mean, it's
because Mike Fisher, the DA, is an agent of the state district courts, an officer of the courts, now the entire state of Oklahoma is on the hook for his actions. And we don't have enough of a means of reining in our DAs.
Right.
And it desperately needs to be done, not just in Pawhuska, not just Osage County, but in many of the counties of Oklahoma.
Well, and this goes to all government officials, all, not just the DAs, but judges, legislators, governor,
cops,
cops, the entirety, because quite frankly, very little of what they do is actually lawful.
Yeah.
Very little of what they do.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Does it matter what somebody else's state representative does? Yeah, because he's an officer of our state government, just like somebody else's DA. I'm on the hook for what Mike Fisher does, even though I don't get to vote for him.
Right.
You know, so this is important to the whole state. This is why AG Mike Hunter, get on this thing, rein it in, bring some sense to this.
Where's the bell? Where's the bell?
Well, actually, if Hunter doesn't, how is he keeping his oath when it says that he must do his job to the best of his ability, and he can be made aware of it. In fact, we can tag him as soon as we get done with this, and he will then not be able to claim ignorance, and therefore, if he doesn't go in and do something about it, that's all on him.
You know what?
He proves himself to be a perjurer.
And I'm going to finish up with this. A good example, contrast. You go over to the district attorney over east of here, Jack Thorpe, in Sequoia County. He had the same thing happen. They had a highway stop of a trucker. Sure enough, he's hauling hemp. Jack tells the local law enforcement, get some samples, send it to the DEA so they know what's being shipped through Oklahoma.
Right.
If they decide to do something, fine. They sent the trucker on his way to Colorado. That's the kind of district attorney that can handle this case. AG Mike Hunter, you can move this one over to that district court, let somebody competent like Jack Thorpe handle it, and we go on our way.
Right. There's more and more backbone growing in the country. I can see it with Trump and Stitt, these people coming into office.
Yeah.